What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off the Court Moves. This is presented by Endure Pro. Our dreams is to make your dreams come true. And today, it's not a regular episode, it's a special episode. We're actually filming this at the Vault Sports and Retro store. I'll be interviewing the owner, Kyle Greathouse. Y'all follow me. We're here inside of the Vault, and without further ado, I'll introduce our guest, Kyle Greathouse. So we're inside the Vault right now. You are the owner of this store, and if you can just take us through and tell us a little bit about the Vault and how it came to be.
Yeah, so this is a retro sports store. Carry hundreds of teams across the NCAA. Try to hit about every professional sports league as well. And then there's also my personal brand, Beautiful Demise, that kind of complements, not necessarily sports teams, but there's some sports involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we established that and where we are, and again, thanks for having us and hosting us in here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, let's backtrack a little bit and just tell us a little bit about you and your beginnings and your upbringing.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Ohio. I grew up in a basketball family. My father was a basketball coach. I grew up in the gym. 2003, I finished high school, went down to Western Carolina. That brought me down to the Carolinas. Went to Western Carolina for 4 years, played there. Over to Europe for a season. Came home and me and my buddy started Beautiful Demise, the clothing brand, and here we are.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm in the Carolinas.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to Ohio, what was it like playing sports there for our guests that might be from the Carolinas and not know the basketball scene there?
It was big time. There was a guy named LeBron James in my senior class. He went to a smaller school than me, but he went to a private school. But yeah, so I watched him develop through the years. Played against him during the summers, and even played with him at like 5-star basketball camp. So
yeah.
I mean, before LeBron was LeBron, like when he was on the Shooting Stars, I was going up against him.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, just some player, LeBron James. You guys might know about him. So within that, take us through your accolades and some of the things that you accomplished, like while you were in school there in Ohio, because you said your dad was coaching.
He was the coach. So like I said, I went to a big school. In Ohio, it's classified Division I is the biggest, and then it goes 2, 3, 4. My senior year, I was the Division I state player of the year. But I'd already committed to Western Carolina though, and I'm undersized, so yeah. I don't know. Maybe I would have if I had signed late, maybe I would have been a little, wouldn't have had like a 4-year starting career in college. But I enjoyed Western. I'm glad I chose Western Carolina. Yeah.
Right. So everything building up to Western Carolina. Before I get into why you chose Western, do you think basketball was your sport of choice because your dad coached, or was it like something that you've always loved,
Right. Yeah, definitely just loved it. It was like in my household, it was like a reverse psychology thing with my dad. It was like, I called him dad at home and it was like coach at the gym. And it was like two different.
Okay.
So he was a master. Looking back, he mastered that. I don't know that that's done very much with father son coaching relationships. But he did a great job, and that's probably why we're best friends this day.
Right.
It's like kind of cool.
So, excuse me. So you go in, you have a great high school seasons, and you go on to commit to Western Carolina. Take us through the process into committing to a school that was far away from Ohio.
Yeah, so it was my junior year, and I think at the time, so this is 2002, how old I am, takes it back. But I think I was allowed, I think the rules were like I had 5 Division I visits that I could take, where it's like, paid for on them or whatever. Western was like the second one I went on, but when I went, I knew it was over. One of my buddies from Ohio was playing there at the time too, Kevin Martin. Um, Pretty good ball player. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I just felt at home, even though I was 8 hours away.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So when you were playing there, did you ever, with it being 8 hours away, did you ever like want to go back home or?
No, I never got homesick, but guys did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
real thing.
yeah, for
And
sure.
you guys were in the, so was it the SoCon? It's
Yep,
still the
yep,
SoCon,
yep.
right?
Still Southern Conference. Yep.
So most of those schools I want to say are on the East Coast, I
Yeah,
believe.
yep,
So
yep.
you're doing a lot of traveling
Mhm.
away from
Yeah,
Ohio.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
Yep. It's and basketball is a long season. It goes across like many months.
right.
Um, and some of those months are you're like the months where the sun's out the least,
Yeah.
and you're in the gym all the time. It's
Right.
like I don't know how much film can you watch.
Yeah. Yeah. So so you say you had an opportunity to have a great 4-year starter career at Western Carolina, and I want our guests to really know what like that takes to be a 4-year starter, whether like the discipline, the responsibility.
Right.
Talk a little bit about those things and what it takes to be a 4-year starter at the college level.
Yeah, definitely. Discipline's a good word. That's it has a lot to do with um, being able um, to go in and like gain the respect of your teammates. You all come from like different forms of life, walks of life from all over the country, all over the world. I think when I went to Western, we had I think we represented like 6 countries, so
Mm,
we had like 6 flags. By the time I left, it was like 2. It was just Canada and U.S. But literally, I mean, there were 6 countries that a team. But and as a point guard, like you have to be able to communicate with everybody, and that's not the easiest thing to do. So at first, it's like your actions. Do you work hard? What do you bring to the table? How do you respond? Like when you get beat? Like how do you respond when you like fail?
right.
So it kind of makes you tough.
Yeah.
People can read your body language very well. Body language is read like real easily, even from like us watching like sports on TV,
Yeah.
and it says a lot. So
It does.
being 18 and rolling into a you know 8 hours from home and kind of commanding respect of like some great athletes
Yeah.
and basketball players.
It's a real thing, and
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're being very very humble. 'Cause you
Well,
were nice. You were nice out there.
yeah. I mean, it's
A
you know,
4-year starter, man.
yeah,
That's
basketball. The more you get out what you put in.
yeah,
Um, and I was lucky. Like I got quick feet and jump.
right,
Because you can't play at the Division I level, my size, my position, if you can't move.
right. So let me ask you
So,
this. Let me ask you this. What was it like as a 4-year starter each year to see a recruited guard
right.
and compete? Because
Yeah.
let's just be honest,
Yeah.
you're on the
Good
same
point.
team, but
Yeah.
they're coming to
It's
start.
competition.
They're coming, and that's it's not all like always, butterflies and rainbows. So what was that like keeping that position and then also keeping the relationship with your teammates?
Yeah. It's just being hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And working hard and just kind of being the example.
Being an example.
Yeah. My junior and senior year, I was captain,
Mm-hmm.
kind of naturally,
Mm-hmm.
just through hard work but it was it always like raised your level of play when a talented freshman comes in, or when they're doing some stuff you haven't seen, and just you know it's fun. It really like, but at the same time, like it's competition, like because everybody wants to be out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, I don't know why you're playing, because
Right.
it's dog eat dog kind of.
So did you see more of the business side when you when you went to college? What year was it when you started to see more of the business of college?
I mean, right away,
right away?
right away, because the game's so fast. Like, I mean, I'm not even 6 foot, and I mean, back in in those days, like somebody that's 6'4", like they're not big to me.
Hmm.
It's like kind of a normal, like I got to guard a guard.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
It's a big man's game.
Right.
There's some really good little guards out there.
For sure. Yeah. So going into speaking about the business of college, what was the transition, or what year did your mind go into what's next after Western Carolina? You did mention you played in Europe for a year.
Mhm.
So like take me through that time period and when you started to think about what's next after college.
Yeah, just for me, it was well. Okay, so rewinding back to my freshman year, Kevin was my roommate on the road,
Hmm.
and he was leading the nation in scoring, Division 1, most of the year. It's like he was back and forth with somebody, um, some guard, but I mean, we were like, so when we're on the road, I mean, the calls to our room, some crazy stuff, like just they're trying to talk
Because
with
he
him.
was getting scouted.
Oh, big time.
On
I
the,
mean, he left as a junior, and was a first round draft pick,
okay.
like from Western. So
Hmm.
during his junior season, when I was a freshman, um, that's what
That's what
on the
was going
road.
on.
Yeah, that's what was
Yeah.
going on kind of behind the scenes.
Right.
The people that were coming to see him, like the scouts and the agents, and
It's real.
it's very real
Yeah.
because the guy, not even 9 months after all this is happening, the guy signs he's a first round draft pick, so it's a guaranteed, like what it was, 3 year, 20 mil,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But very real.
Yeah.
but like for me, it was going somewhere to play, getting paid, and having fun with it. I without the NBA or something like that, um, I had other goals.
Hmm.
So very cool, a very cool situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you say being a college athlete sparked your interest in being in the sports, clothing like industry?
I think the competitive side would be for it being my own,
Right.
as in like, oh, you have a business. What's your idea? What got to pay bills.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
when you make something up,
Yeah.
which is essentially what Beautiful Demise is made up. Like me and my buddy made it up.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's you got to be very competitive to like have that linger on. I mean, we're in year 14.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So the startup, so year 1 to year 5, tell our audience a little bit. I know we could probably talk for hours
Right.
about that, but just kind of give the insight on what that was like when you're starting that up.
Business?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every business is different, of course. Some just hit it right.
Mm-hmm.
With this, it's like, I had to put in the sweat equity,
Mm-hmm.
so worked hard.
Yes.
Just what I did in basketball. It's the same principle, the same discipline. I mean, very, very direct. Like, to me, it's like the only difference is the physicality, right?
Okay.
Like, or, here, it's not me and five guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a 5-man team, like
Mm-hmm.
starting five or whatever. Um,
But you obviously you're still managing a team of
oh,
employees.
now, yeah, now I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very,
Because you
very
have
lucky.
another location in
In
Charleston.
Charleston, yep.
So there's
Down
2
on King,
locations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So it's probably talking with me, you can see the similarities.
I
That's
can.
it's
Yeah. That
so
was going down my neck. I was
pretty
thinking that.
it's pretty relatable.
Yeah.
And I make it as relatable as I can
Right.
because that's all I know.
Right. And I don't think you'll say, but I have the pleasure of knowing you, off camera and before.
Mhm.
You were sweating when I came in here.
Right.
You were putting in you said it took sweat equity to start it up. But I don't think you see that a lot where like you're still sweating and you
Right.
necessarily I'm not gonna say you don't necessarily have to be, but the owner of the stores, you were literally sweating.
Working.
Yeah, you were working before we started this thing, and you're probably going to go back after we're done. So, what are some goals that you have in the future for business, and what can we look forward to?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe expand even more. Um, maybe in the brand, who knows? It's kind of limitless because like every year it just is building organically, which has been pretty neat. We might pump some money into it, so it might be on some roids,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
might be hitting the gym a little more.
And you can find beautiful demise uh pretty much like a lot of different places, not just in the Carolinas. Like you can find it.
Well,
You
yeah, I mean, there's a big store in Colorado that carries us that we have a hard time keeping up with, but we're a small business and we're feeding small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of room for growth,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot.
A lot.
But
Yeah.
you know,
And a 14-year is kind of interesting to hear you say. In
yeah,
a 14-year, business, and you're still saying there's a lot of room for it.
all
You know what I mean?
tons, yeah,
So.
yeah, and that's what's very cool about it. And it's been so controlled
Mm-hmm.
that um, every move is like I'd like to say calculated, but I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's the right word. But it's we're not in any rush.
All right.
What we made up.
All right. Yeah. So.
you know.
Yeah. So I would be remorse if I didn't backtrack just a little bit and ask you what. So you played going back to Western Carolina from 2000, was it
Three to
2003
seven, yeah.
to 2007. So you played against Steph Curry, who was
At
in the SoCon
Davidson,
at
yeah.
Davidson. Do you have any like Steph Curry stories for our audience? I know that they would
Well, he
love
was a
that.
freshman, but he was like as skinny as you'll ever see, like old videos of him. But he wasn't weak. Like he was like his might sound really weird, but like following him off screens and or him like getting you off of him when he's got like he's not weak.
Right, but he looks.
But he looked really
Yeah.
weak, but he was not weak. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like no, he was skinny, but yeah, that's all.
Right.
It's just not. He wasn't a weak player.
Right.
Like
And
there was no like I'm gonna bully him. Like
and it looks like you can from
you
those
would
videos back
back then,
then.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
but
he's a
that's
little
why it
bigger
wasn't
now.
really happening though, because he's not weak.
Right,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it's a
And he changed the game, like
big time.
literally.
Yeah,
And our
yeah.
audience knows that.
If Steph would have played before me, I could average double, man. I've been shooting more threes.
Right, right, for
Curry
sure.
effect.
Yeah, but you were a point guard, so you're facilitating and getting
Yeah,
people set up
yeah,
and
yeah.
things of that nature. So, what advice would you give our audience for someone looking to let's start with going to playing basketball at a high level?
Some things are out of your hand, like for example, the one thing out of my hand was my height. Couldn't really control that, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of things that you can control. You know, be the best version of yourself, but you can only see that if you like put in the time and the effort, never back down, kind of.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break before I
Cool.
get into some more questions. The Dreamers Expo, you don't want to miss it, guys. So it's the biggest networking event ever to be held in Greenville, South Carolina. That is the goal in 2023. We're going to strive to make it the biggest networking event, and more details will be out soon. We'll jump back into the interview. I'm excited to ask this next question. What advice would you give to the youth that's looking to start businesses?
Start their own business. Um, be ready to work. You know, be ready to work. Um, always do what you say you're gonna do for your customers.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you tell a customer something, do it.
Yeah.
Or don't tell them it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty simple. Yeah, just gotta like I said, every business is different, but in my case, to be willing to work.
Awesome. So I appreciate you sharing that and again letting us do the interview
Yeah.
here. If you don't mind, I want to shout out the Vault and just let people know that they can also shop online. I believe it's the Vault,
Yeah, Vault Retro Sports. Yeah.
.com.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can shop in store here in Greenville, South Carolina, located right on downtown Greenville. Also in Charleston
On King Street.
on King
Yeah,
Street.
Lower King. Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, you can place an order as well, like if for
Definitely.
different sizes or
Yep.
whatnot.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, and before we leave, I want to give you this gift. I know you've been,
Nice.
drafted before in the college, playing at Western Carolina and playing over in Europe, but we want to extend this,
Cool.
this love of indoor over to you
Nice.
and give you
Very
a
cool.
nice cap. So you're officially part of the indoor family.
Yeah, man. Let me put it on. A
Awesome,
double
man.
snap.
Yeah, awesome,
Cool.
awesome.
Appreciate that.
And you actually, let us do the interview in the store. So we will be giving our future guests some Vault gear.
Cool.
Whether it's hats, shirts. So I appreciate you just being able to lend a hand and allowing us to do that as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely.
well, that's it for this episode of Off the Court Moves. For those of you watching, I just want you to keep striving, keep persevering, and keep enduring. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it, Kyle.
Thank you.
These bitches coming by the group, I gotta hit them all. I told they had me metal like I don't want me a war. These niggas get the tweaking, I'ma send them to the Lord. I've been thugging for a minute. Brace it, hop, I get the tweaking with the glitz. Shawty said she love me, she might kill me if I leave her. Bro, the paranoid, he been sleeping with a heater. Shawty pop out, CMC2, shit like Regal. Put the drink down, I started sleeping on my private. See a bust down.